nobody can hear me. I'm here to show my support for the survivors of the Grenfell Tower blaze and also the very brave firefighters. Who can forget the photographs of those firefighters covered in soot outside the building, but who went in again and again to try and save people? It was incredibly moving. And who can forget the photographs of the blaze at Grenfell altogether? But you've heard from some very informed people. I just want to make a few points. And first and foremost, what I want to say is that Grenfell is ultimately about people. It's about people in those communities who saw their neighbours and their friends and the people they'd seen on the landing every morning, people they'd seen coming out to work and to school, seeing some of them die in the most horrific way possible. And we can talk about the technicalities, we can talk about the inquiry, but we shouldn't move far from remembering the people and the community. Like everyone, as I see, and you forgive me if I say that I was particularly moved in a way because I know North Kent and the Grove very well. Because when I was a child, North Kent and the Grove were the heartbeat of the Caribbean community. My father, who like his daughter was very intrepid, chose to move out to Harrow when I was about 4. His friends and family were shocked. They said, "Reggie, why are you going to live on bush?" As far as they were concerned, he had moved to the edge of the known world. But because Harrow was the edge of the known world, and you couldn't get your yam and your banana, and you couldn't get your food, and you couldn't buy your records or whatever, we, like a lot of people who actually had to move out of the area, used to come back every Saturday for Mummy to do her shopping, to buy her yam and green banana, and for us to see our friends, and we would always end up in somebody's front room, somewhere in North Kent, listening to what a lot of people never have heard of, a Blue Spot radiogram beating out the latest ska classics. So for me, North Kent it's all incredibly emotional. But it's about people. It's about people and communities. It's also about the people that stepped up in the hours after the fire. In the hours after the fire, Kensington and Chelsea let that community down in the most disgraceful way. And if ordinary people, ordinary communities, ordinary individuals, people from their mosque and their church hadn't stepped up to help people, the situation would have even have been worse. My view is that Kensington and Chelsea failed the people in that community. It's a failing council, and it's long past time the commissioners were sent in. Grenfell is about people, and it's about people who, if the Tories have their way, and if the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea have their way, they want you to forget. One of the reasons I'm happy to speak in this particular seminar, one of the reasons I spoke about this from the platform at Labour Party conference, is I think it's absolutely vital that we don't forget those people and don't forget the bigger issues raised by Grenfell. Most of the survivors of Grenfell are still not in appropriate permanent housing. You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that from what Theresa May and whatever get up in Parliament and say, but most of them are still in hotels and temporary housing. Millions of pounds has been raised for the survivors of Grenfell. I am still trying to work out where it has all gone, who has actually got it. fire inspection, Grenfell is the culmination of policies of deregulation, outsourcing and austerity, and these things cannot be forgotten. Grenfell is about people. It's about people that some of us may have known. It's about people that all of us could have known. It's about people that did not deserve to die the way they died. It's about people that don't deserve to be neglected and messed around the way the Royal Borough is trying to mess them around now. And finally, let me say this. I know North Kent. I was born just the other side of the Harrow Road. And when I was born, Daddy had bought a house. And you'll say, he bought a house? He did indeed, but in those days, if you're an immigrant and you bought a house, every room was let. Every room in the house was let. We had a cooker on the landing. We had one room. Every room was let. But we had in the basement an Irish family. And the head of the household was called Jimmy. And Jimmy thought the world of me. My mother would give me breakfast in the morning, and he would give me another breakfast straight away downstairs in the basement. 2 breakfasts, Diane. So it was the period of all the problems and violence in Notting Hill. And there were white racist hooligans going up and down the roads and knocking on doors. And if they found black people and black families, they were at risk and they could get assaulted. So they came to our house on Edbrook Road. They came banging on the door. My mother was terrified, but Uncle Jimmy came up from the basement and he said, they are not getting our Diane. He went to the door, he opened the door, they saw a white man, they went away. We have to learn and relearn the value of solidarity. We have to fight against the social apartheid that this Tory government is forcing on London and other cities and intensifying with every day. We have to fight for decent social housing. We have to fight for a properly funded fire service. But above all, we have to fight for justice for Grenfell. Thank you very much.